And there we are. Welcome everyone to the first game of the series. Dragonstar is gonna play with Berbers. Meanwhile, TheViper is gonna play with Bengalis. And very interesting tower over here. Is this bugged? This is actually not bugged. It can happen. For anybody who might not be familiar with this map, we did see this one in earlier stages of BOIS. And it's called Double Farmland. Basically, you start with 1 TC surrounded by palisades. So you're going to start with 1 TC safe. And the other TC is going to be out in the open. You're going to see that outside the walls from your safe TC, there will be farmlands where you can send villagers to collect food for free. And those will be protected by towers, but it can happen that the farms and the towers over here spawn in such a way that they actually kind of range each other, right? So TheViper and Dragonstar, they both have this kind of mill generation this time around. We're gonna see also the towers ranging each other, so these are probably just going to cancel out. Interestingly enough, that is not something you see every day. Well, probably not, but the time this tower gets too low HP, TheViper can just send a villager or something, or whatever over here. Potentially even Dragonstar can send the villager over here from the south DC and try to repair this. So it's not necessarily just going to be the both towers going down simultaneously. Besides that, which, you know, comprises the center, we are going to have the outer part of the map, which is composed of plenty of woods. So the majority of the wood in the map is going to be available in the outskirts, so to say, where you will also find some resources, gold, stone, but not too much. The vast majority of those resources are going to be kind of at the center. And let's take a look at that. Take a look at this. The Viper's over, the sending villagers over. He's going to end up taking the tower down over here from Dragonstar, which means he's going to be the one player able to take advantage of all the hunting over here, of all the farms. And he's going for it. Meanwhile, well, Dragonstar, he's got this one still to collect from, yes. On the right-hand side, but doesn't seem to be anywhere near as good. This, generating like this so much closer to TheViper is so good for the Norwegian player. He's got 10 deer over here, ripe for taking. Meanwhile, Dragonstar ended up collecting 2 deer from the south of his base. Up in the north, we see 3 deer. So I think he already collected one of these, right? I think there is the antler. In any case, you can see it. Yes. So it's going to be 6 deer that Dragonstar will be able to collect from close to his base. Meanwhile, TheViper's got not only 10 deer over here, but of course he also has the farms to potentially capitalize on at a later point. Let me know if the stream title is updated. It should be.
Hey.
In the north, Dragonstar needs to be careful over there. Ends up getting a bunch of HP chunked off his own scout. The starts are a little bit slower on double TC start over here compared to what we saw in the previous show match, for instance. So let's go through the civilizations over here and yeah, take a look at what we get. Dragonstar playing with Berbers. We'll have first off 10% faster moving villagers. He gets 10% faster moving ships. In addition to that, the little player is going to have 15 and 20% cheaper stable unit production in the Castle and Imperial Ages. While for the team bonus, Berbers will also have access to Janitor, a mounted skirmisher type unit. TheViper, playing with Bengalis instead, will get extra armor on monks. +3/+3. Bengalis are a civilization that also gets 2 additional villagers each time that they go up to the next stage. In addition to that, we have elephant units that take 25% less bonus damage and have conversion resistance, some conversion resistance. And then finally for the team bonus, trade units will yield extra food in addition to gold, but this is going to be just for team games, of course, so it doesn't really matter too much. As we see both players go up to the fuel H, Dragonstar is going to be the first one to click up. He is about, I think, 39 seconds faster to the fuel H compared to the Viper. And he's going up on a somewhat comparable amount of villages, which is nothing short of remarkable. Of course, the Viper will get ahead once he gets to the fuel H by virtue of the extra villages coming out of the TC for free. And what I'm not really sure though, and I'm going to take a look at that for the Viper, is do you get 2 additional villagers upon reaching the next stage over here on double TC start anyway, or is it 4? Is it 2 per TC? I think it might be 2 per TC. So I think that's going to be 4 extra villagers for the Viper. He's already on 41. It's going to get the 42nd villager out. There we go. 42. 46. It is 2 per TC. So it's really good. Now the Viper is going to be on his way to the Castle Age very soon with a higher worker count, despite the fact that he did click up later. You know, and struggle to keep up with villager production. You take a look at the idle TC time over here, and the Viper's just getting so much. He's getting so much, and he doesn't need to. He's got 2 TCs. Yeah, he could have just gone for an extra villager while he waited for Town Watch to come out. He still needed to get the market and the blacksmith up anyway, so a little bit sloppy over there from the Viper. Meanwhile, Dragonstar's going up to the Castle Age himself. Once again, a little bit earlier compared to the Viper. It's going to be a 12-second or so lead for the blue player over the red player. Has anybody seen this series already? This took place yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday or was it 2 days ago? I think it might have been 2 days ago, but... Yeah. I think it was 2 days ago, actually, like at 13 GMT. I think so, something like that. But I'm not really sure what to expect over here. We have seen Dragonstar perform pretty well, you know, after all, he's getting into the 3rd round of the lower bracket. I think it's a sum of it on all stream on Tuesday. Interesting. So it started... Wow, that'll be actually very early for Onlu to be streaming. Started 13 GMT, I believe.
Hi.
Onlu is in the US, right? Is that East Coast or West Coast? Regardless, it'd still be pretty early. But I might be wrong. I don't know. Second TC is already on the way. 3rd TC is on the way. Sorry, for the Viper, of course. We already have 2 TCs. Dragonstar got to the Castle Age, but he's going for triple stable night production. His GMT -7! So it's probably West Coast. Well, that is extremely early for him to begin stream, because that'll be 6 AM his time that this series began. So I'm not really sure. Perhaps maybe he streamed on Tuesday and used recorded games. Interesting. -7, I would think that's West Coast. -6, that might be it. -5, there we go. Thank you, lightsaber. Still pretty darn early though. About 8 AM. Maybe he just gasped with record the games. Who knows? Nice villager pick over here for the Viper. Getting a little bit of a hero snipe over there. -7 is Midwest. What is the earliest you get in the US? Minus what? Like I don't know, probably Seattle. Somewhere around there. -5? EST? I don't think so, right? Isn't that East? Anyway, Dragonstar, so far, unable to make the triple stable play work, has only managed to get 5 knights out so far. Despite being in the castle age for a little while already, and he's starting to make a play for light cavalry right now. He simply cannot really sustain production over here. And he's going after the monks. The Viper's been going for monks quite heavily, and now we see the light cavalry over there. The monks, remember, they do get extra armor. And the Viper is gonna try and masterpiece his way into a dub here. Oh boy. Oh boy. That was not the greatest for the Viper. He did end up getting some conversions, yes, but he actually lost a bunch of monks. I think at the very beginning he was on like 7 or so, and in the end he's gonna be left on only 3, so it was not worth it for sure. And now Dragonstar has managed to come in, and he's taking a lot of villagers down. The Viper is losing 1, 2, 3, 4 villagers, 5 villagers. Not even close. And Dragonstar, even with that chain bar and armor, dives underneath the TC a little bit. Manages to get some extra damage down over there, and so far we're gonna see a 62 eco KD favoring Dragonstar. He's gonna keep on trying to get the raids going, and the triple monastery play over here for the Viper is not really working out too well for him. Ends up losing the monks over there, does not get a conversion this time around. And that's a lot of villagers potentially going down over here to the light cavalry, 2 for sure. On the right hand side, the Viper is gonna try to go for a forward castle. This really reminds me of just the last game that we saw earlier. MSAP, Illinois is -6 at the moment. Okay. So that'll still be pretty darn early, right? That's 7 a.m. 7 a.m. starting time. Regardless, though, he could very well have cast these. We record the games. I do not know. We are probably digressing too much already talking about this. It doesn't really make too much of a difference for our situation, right? We are casting these games now anyway. So nice monk picks over here. Once again, the Viper fails to land a single conversion with these units. Dragonstar ends up pushing the villagers away from the tower over here. He's going to get control of the center, at the very least from this area. One more time. Gas comes up for the Viper, and he starts going for Rathas. Now, this is the unit that needs to be upgraded and needs to be mass in order to work out. It's very similar in nature to the Mangodai. It's very expensive to fully upgrade, but once you get there, it's very, very difficult to clean up, so long as you're able to keep a good amount of units up. The difference, of course, is that Bengalis, they struggle so much more to get there. Don't have any early eco bonuses. The extra villagers, especially on a standard start with a single TC, is usually not enough to compensate for that, so it will be a little bit of a struggle for the Viper to take advantage of the unit, of course, for the time being. Meanwhile, Dragonstar has a higher work count right now, but he's also the player with the most idle villagers. 38 idle villagers so far. I don't think he realizes where the villagers are. I think it was probably just garrison villagers, right? Perhaps he just realized about now. He out garrisoned the TC, and the Viper's going for another castle. If the Viper gets the castle up over here, we're gonna see the red player put pressure and take the TC down over here. However, Dragonstar is still going to have 4 additional TCs to keep on working with, so it doesn't seem to matter that much. Nice villager picks over here. Once again, Dragonstar has been the one getting the most eco damage done this game so far, with 27 villager kills up until this point. But this will not stop Viper's push. Wow, and another TC's in the way for Dragonstar, so even if he ends up losing this one, it's still going to be 5 TCs for both these players. And now the Viper is going for the 6th TC though. And he's been collecting a lot of stone still, so he can go for yet another castle. And this is something Dragonstar has been struggling against for sure. I think by the time the Viper tries to drop another castle, Dragonstar is probably going to have enough to go for a counter one himself. If he doesn't, he can potentially make use of the market and buy it. Extra units coming forward from Dragonstar still. Where's the Viper going to go for the next castle? waiting for the TC to go down and going for the castle over here wouldn't make sense. He needs to go for the castle. I think if he really wants to mess Dragonstar up, he would have to go for the castle somewhere around here, right? This way, he'll be able to deny this. He'll be able to take this down. He'll be making it pretty difficult for the blue player to continue collecting from this goal as well, and that'll be a good location, I think. It'll be difficult because Dragonstar, once again, has almost enough resources to go for a counter castle, and he's got a lot of extra villages over there to work with. So let's take a look. The Viper's got redemption, guys. He's going after the tables, and Dragonstar is losing the tables over here. My lord. He's going for some extra buildings on the back. Yeah. 3 additional stables coming up elsewhere. And the Viper? Well, the Viper is going for the castle in a location that will allow him to push Dragonstar away from one of the golds and one of the TCs, but definitely there was a better location for the castle over there where he would have been able to push both gold miners away and potentially target both TCs as well, I think. Yeah. In any case, the Viper's trying to get the pressure going forward. Meanwhile, Dragonstar is raiding on the back of the Viper's base once again. These knights so far have gotten 5 villager kills, and that's not going to be the end of it. We're going to see another villager go down over there. So far, the Viper has been the largest loser over here for villagers, losing 38 workers compared to only 9 losses for Dragonstar so far. And because the worker count is pretty even between both these players, that just goes to show Dragonstar has saved a lot of resources because the Viper had to pay for villagers. In the end, he wasn't really able to utilize. Or wasn't able to keep. In any case, let's take a look at gather economy time. Looking better for Dragonstar by quite a lot, interestingly enough. By the work account once again being somewhat even. And there we go. Now it's Dragonstar's turn to go for the forecastle. He's gonna try and drop one in between both these TCs from the Viper, but how on earth is he gonna effectively surround the foundations over there? He can't. There's a gate over there as well. He can't really go for it. Now the Viper knows about the possibility for a castle. And he's going for a defensive castle over here himself as well. Meanwhile, he's got another castle on the way forward. Unbelievable. The Viper's castle pressure over here and castle defense this game is just out of this world. Where's Dragonstar going to go for the... Take a look at that. The Viper's going to try to wall the villagers up. And... Oh, that was so close though. The timing. The timing, man. That was so damn close. Now Dragonstar is just going to walk away and get the castle up over here. And that villager just missed it by such a short distance. Right hand side, there's a defensive castle coming up for Dragonstar. As we expect, he has a lot of extra villagers to work with over here, so he should be able to deny this castle. The Rathas won't be able to do too much. And the Viper will most likely not, and not just getting pushed away from here. Left hand side, Dragonstar keeps on trying to put the pressure. And up in the north, he's got the raids going. The left hand side, he's got the castle coming up, and it's just come up. The Rathas from the Viper not doing much of anything. However, the red player is going to be the first one to go up to the Imperial Age, interestingly enough. Overall KD has favored Dragonstar. Overall Eco KD has favored Dragonstar by a lot. And we take a look at Gather Economy time, and it's favored Dragonstar as well. So I gotta wonder how on earth is the Viper able to go for 4 freaking castles, 5 freaking castles actually. He couldn't finish building this one, but the foundation's there. How was he able to go for 5 freaking castles, so many extra villagers he ended up losing, have a much lower Gather Economy time, and still be the first player to go up to the Imperial? It just boggles my mind. There is no way with the amount of Gather Economy time that we have for Dragonstar over here over the Viper, that the Viper was actually ahead in resources collected, right? The only upgrade that he's got over Dragonstar is BOIS. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, of course, Dragonstar is ahead. So it's nothing but incredible to see the Viper be able to click up to the Imperial Age, given the current situation. When I lived in New Zealand and call home, it was hopeless. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hour difference with Norway. On the space out of 10 months I was there, right? Yeah. He's bad. Nice extra raids coming up, and Dragonstar. Dragonstar is making this game extremely messy. The Viper just finished researching pikes. That's gonna give Elephant and Ratha's units 20% extra attack. I think they attack faster. It's something alongside 20%, so they are 20% stronger. I don't remember if it's faster attacking or if it's extra damage. I think it's faster attacking. And now the Viper gets to the Imperial Age, but Dragonstar? Well, Dragonstar's got the lead for sure. He's got Rams coming out. He's got a larger military count, a much larger economy. Keeps on raiding around, and the Viper doesn't have enough garrison space for everything. He's going to end up losing a bunch of villages up in the north. Although the red player manages to keep a good amount of Rathas over here. Once again, it's going to take a significantly larger amount of this. Oftentimes, I have seen players kind of fall victim to the bulkiness of these units, the visual size of this unit, and take engagements with armies of Rathas that are not anywhere near as numerous as they need to be, just because it kind of looks like a big army, but it's actually not. It's very similar to war wagons, with the difference that war wagons are actually pretty effective in smaller amounts, while the Rathas not so much. There we go, once again, the quick walls from the Viper do not connect in time, and now the trade goes down. Beautiful. The village for Dragon kind of hurts. Castles and TCs do very little damage. Yeah, that's true. Viper already has Bracer over here, which will make it much harder for Dragonstar to keep on raiding around. Don't have chemistry yet, though, for the Viper. But yeah, what a messy game, and what a great series we're watching. Guys, remember, this is the lower bracket. There are no extra chances. After you're out of here, you're out of the tournament. So there's plenty of reason for the players to try hard over here. There we go, extra stables coming out for the Viper now, but Dragonstar's got a much stronger economy, and he's going to be in the Imperial Age very soon. That will give him a 20% discount on stable unit production for Berbers. So that kind of puts the Viper in a very awkward spot, as Dragonstar will be able to start spamming the unit significantly easier once he gets to the Imperial Age, and he's only about 15 seconds away from it. There we go, Imperial Age is here. In Dragonstar, interestingly enough, he is actually behind in score still. But this got play bar than armor coming up, and I cannot imagine that being the case for much longer than this. 164 villagers for Dragonstar, yes, going down to 163 over here still. Much better position compared to the Viper. Take a look at that KD though, 110 to 18. Villagers killed versus villagers lost for Dragonstar, and the Viper is still freaking ahead in score. How is this possible? Dragonstar even has a better KD overall, so it's not just villagers. But also he's been getting a good share of military units. The Viper now, he's going for Mahayana. Remember, this is going to give Bengalis villagers 10% lower population cost. So the Viper is going to go down to about 126 villagers worth of a population over here, a little bit higher than that now. So you can go technically for more units while keeping a comparable economy, or going for a stronger economy while keeping a comparable amount of military units. But Dragonstar should be in a pretty good spot. He's got heavy Camel Rider coming up. That produced for cheaper. He's got a lot of light cavalry on the way. And the Viper. The Viper's going for Elite Battle Elephants. We're gonna see the Chunkers and Dragonstar. Dragonstar's getting to the back of the Viper's base once again, getting a bunch of villagers. The Viper's just getting completely clapped over here. It's not managed to garrison anywhere near as many villagers as he needed to. The reaction is coming in a little bit too late. And Dragonstar, well, Dragonstar is going to get away with a lot of extra damage over here, I'll tell you that much. Absolutely unbelievable. The Viper's gone down from 144 to 122 workers, 20 workers, 18 workers. Damn. 118 workers for the Viper right now, as Dragonstar is going to keep on putting pressure. Tried to go for the castle forward, and now we have the Elite Chunkers for the red player trying to make this a Dal Castle. There we go. Yes, sir. There we go. We have the trebuchets from the Viper over here, taking the castle down, so it comes up. And actually faster than it came up, it goes down right away. For poor Dragonstar. There we go. Let's actually go back. There was a big fight up in the north. Over here. Let me take a look at this. Yeah, but you see, it's actually not that big of a fight. Once again, it's just the bulkiness of the units. Even the bodies over here at the Rathas, they are so bulky that it kind of seemed as if 40 units fought over here, but it's actually just a fairly small amount of camels taking a fairly small amount of Rathas, but it just looks like a graveyard for 40 plus units over there. So even I am getting kind of baited by the the visual size of the Rathas, but yeah. Until he has the Viper dropped under 100 in the villager count, but very soon it seems like the Viper is going to drop under 100 in population, as Dragonstar is going to keep on putting pressure. He's got 24 light cavalry, Huzzah right now actually, queued up out of 13 stables. Remember, 20% cheaper in the Imperial Age already. And after all the raids Dragonstar got going against the Viper, he is looking significantly stronger right now. So well freaking done. Dragonstar. It's looking like he's going to take game number 1. The Raiden's certainly on the wall, and it's not spilling good news for the Viper, so it seems to be basically a matter of time right now. Like, there's no way, almost, for Dragonstar to lose this game, right? From this point onwards, so long as he keeps on producing units. He needs to go for extra houses though to get to 200, but so long as he keeps on producing units, he's gonna be stronger compared to the Vipers. Should be able to significantly outproduce the red player because of it. And even though the Viper was able to get another castle down over here, it doesn't really matter. Dragonstar is not really banking on these castles to defend his economy. These were 4 castles. Meanwhile, the Viper, yeah, the Viper's got a lot to lose over here on the left-hand side. And here comes Dragonstar, guys. A lot of camels coming out. So we have Huzzar, we have camels. Saw Dragonstar go for Theocracy earlier as well, so he was going for the monk play. Ended up getting 2 chunkers as well. Converted over. And the Viper's just going to keep on losing more and more population. Dropping under 100 population already. 97 pop for the Viper. Of course, that's kind of misleading given that he actually has more units than what the population tells over here because of Mahayana, but still, I don't see a way in which Dragonstar loses this. Once again, the Viper. It's going to be in a position where it's not really possible for him to come back by kind of his own merit alone. He's got to play this game perfectly, and Dragonstar's got to start throwing massively in order for the Viper to take this one. So it's it'll be about time to call the GG. The Viper probably realizes that Dragonstar is significantly outproducing him for military, and he probably has a much stronger economy as well. But there is no sure way for him to know, because if you take a look at the score from Viper's perspective, he's not that far behind, right? Or at the very least he wasn't. Just a few moments ago, he was only about 300 points behind, but now Dragonstar is gonna start skyrocketing his score lead, and this should give the Viper the final hint that he needs to realize just how far behind he is, and he does. It does. The Viper realizes, calls a GG in game number 1 after 50 minutes of gameplay. It's going to go in favor of Dragonstar, who gets the first game over here, who is going to clutch it up and get what I would imagine a lot of people will call an upset for the very beginning. So we'll jump into game number 2 after taking a look at the achievements. Nice KD. In the end, Dragonstar is going to be the player with a better KD. It's going to be about 9 to 8 over here. Close to it. We have, in addition to that, for economy, a stronger economy for Dragonstar, and it's not particularly close. Not a lot. Not by a lot. Check this out. 24,000 almost extra resources for Dragonstar. That is almost a full third of Viper's total resources collected over here that the Dragonstar managed to get over. The Blue player managed to get over the Viper. Society is going to reveal a higher village max count for Dragonstar. In the end, he ended up losing a lot of these villagers, and it's kind of a good thing for him in the end, because he kind of would have needed the population space anyway. But we're going to see over here 63 villager loss throughout the game for Dragonstar. Meanwhile, the Viper, my lord, 227 villagers lost for the Viper so far this game. That was just a complete slaughterhouse from Dragonstar. And the craziest thing is that the Viper was actually to keep on going for so long after taking so many losses, and that is just nothing short of remarkable. Unbelievable. Let's go and yeah, take a look at what we get for game number 2. And we are in, guys. We are in game number 2. We're gonna have the Viper in the red color. We're gonna have Dragonstar in the blue color, similar to what we had in the previous game, to keep colors consistent. And for civilizations, Dragonstar and the Viper are both making use of Hindustanis. A very strong civilization for a map like this, where the players will get 4 TCs to work with at the very beginning, right? So we have 4 TCs for each. For these civilizations, the bonuses will be 10, 15, 20, and 25% cheaper villagers in the Dark Feudal Castle and Imperial Ages. On top of that, we're gonna see for Hindustanis, +1/+1 armor on gunpowder units. They get, in addition to that, also 25% faster attacking camel rider units. And for the team bonus, camel rider units, light cavalry, and hussar units get 2 bonus damage against buildings. So in case anyone is not familiar with this map, this is actually a huge one. 4 quarters allows players to fight this as if it was 4 1v1s simultaneously. Because each TC is isolated from the extra TCs and is also kind of trapped in with an enemy TC in each quarter as well. The players are going to have to pay attention to so many things at once, it's ridiculous. Taking a look at the left-hand side, we'll see, for instance, this quarter is going to have only stone for the most part, except for the starting gold. The players will get a starting gold in each quarter anyway. So up in the north, we have a starting goal over here for the Viper, for Dragonstar. Then down the south, we're going to have a starting goal over here in this quarter for the Viper and Dragonstar as well. But yeah, besides that, besides the starting goal, then each quarter is going to have, for the most part, a good chunk of a specific resource, right? So on the left hand side we have stone only, on the right hand side we have gold only, up in the north we have food from land, so hunting and berries, and then down the south we're gonna have wood and water food, so fish. So far the meta for this map seems to have evolved in a way that Hindustanis are the pretty much the most favored civilization by a lot. And you know what? Let me take a look to see if that checks out. I think that's the case, but I'm going to take a look to talk with the actual stats as opposed to just pulling figures out of nowhere. Let me check. All right. So for LBR3 maps, there are actually no stats, unfortunately, on the spectator dashboard, so we can't really know what the stats are looking like for civilizations, but I would imagine that Hindustanis are probably the most picked civilization on this map. Here we go. Village is on the way for both these guys. Dragonstar is there a little bit sooner. We'll see if he manages to go out to the castle age as well. And we see that both players already start to collect stone. We talked about the meta for this map already in the past, but given this is a new series, let's take a look at it really quickly. The way you see the players usually go about this map is they do get up to the fuel age, and the first thing you see is demolition rafts. Yes, Grump, that is indeed. That's what we are expecting to see, what's usually been the case. So down the south is where you're going to have the most action early on. Afterwards, you're gonna see players try to make plays for forward castles. Usually on the left-hand side, it's the most effective because if you can prevent your opponent from collecting stone, then you can also keep on collecting stone from there and keep on going for more castle plays. And the right, up in the north, and down the south as well. If you are the only player with access to stone, right? So that's usually the way it goes, but let's take a look. So Felix is over here already for Dragonstar in for the Viper. Dragonstar is going to be on his way to the castle age significantly earlier compared to the Viper, and he's going to be the first player to start going for demolition rafts already. He's managed to get the walls up, and the Viper's managed to get the walls up, so himself as well. However, the red player is the only guy with kind of exposed economy, right? We have some villagers over here. We have some fishing ships up in the north as well. We take a look at the scouting information from Dragonstar, and yeah, he doesn't really know where to go. Meanwhile, oh! Bow! Big shot over there! 3 villages going down from the Viper. Got vision on the demolition raft a little bit too late for him to react, and yeah, now we'll see the castle age coming out for both these guys. Nobody is going for any extra demo shots. Just fire galleys for the Viper. Just fire galleys for Dragonstar. And as expected, we'll see very soon once the player gets to the castle age. For castle plays as well, especially on the sides. In my opinion, the better way to go for it will be on the left-hand side, because once again, if you are able to prevent your opponent from collecting stone, then you can also make a much harder push in the other quarters with forward castles as well. Interestingly enough though, Dragonstar is going up earlier, but he is lagging behind significantly in work count. That shouldn't be the case. He should be only behind by about 2 villagers or so right now. He's gotten a little bit of extra LTC time. The Viper's being able to keep up a little bit better. Although, to be fair, Dragonstar did just finish researching wheelbarrow, so anyway. Overall, KD is favoring Dragonstar still, but not by a lot. He does end up losing 2 additional units over there. I'm not really sure what happened. Actually, he might have lost a villager to, or 2 villagers to the boars, perhaps. Because there's only 1 villager kill from the Viper, and Dragonstar has so far lost 3 eco units themselves. So I guess it was probably a villager going down up in the north where perhaps Dragonstar was not paying too much attention. He was probably paying attention down the south instead. And the Viper's gonna try to go for a forward castle. Dragonstar already has a defensive one up over here. He's got the golems coming up. The golems! And then on the left hand side, we have forward castle over here that comes up from the Viper, and Dragonstar is going to end up losing some villages over here. No more demolition ships anymore. The war galley upgrade is here, mind you. And it seems as if Dragonstar is gonna be the one getting control down the south. That's usually the way it goes. Whoever gets water control over here is going to get control of the full quarter, because what do? If you fall behind and aren't able to catch up in navy count, you're just going to lose a TC to fire ships, to war galleys, right? So yeah. Let's see how it maps. It's great. Yes. And here come the Golem from the Viper this time around. Yes, sir. We already saw the Golem map in the north come up from Dragonstar. And now the Viper is actually getting a lot of damage down over here. And once again, remember, if you get full control of the left-hand side, your opponent's unable to keep on going for castles anymore. So now Dragonstar actually has to buy a castle for himself. And where is he going to go for it? He's got the resources. Where's the castle? The castle's coming up over here on the right-hand side. Defensively as well in front of his DC. Yep. Viper's gunner in the west, in the south, rather, sorry. And Dragonstar should end up getting this quarter completely for himself sometime soon. Left hand side, though, it's going to be the other way around, with the Viper looking significantly stronger compared to Dragonstar. There we go. Oh, the Viper though, he managed to sneak some of the fire ships over here into the economy from Dragonstar. Up in the north, he will, or on the left hand side rather, he's going to end up taking the TC down, getting all the villagers down as well very soon with the Golems. And the Viper, well, he should end up getting cleaned up eventually down the south, right? He's gonna try to go for a defensive castle. Yeah, and Dragonstar doesn't seem like he'll be able to prevent this at all. He's got just fire ships. These cannot target villages behind foundations, so he needs war galleys, and if he starts going for it, it's gonna be too late. So we see Dragonstar going for demolition ships. He'll try to demo the wall, bust through, and come in with the fire ships. Okay. Meanwhile, up in the north, as expected, it's going to be, or actually on the left-hand side. Once I keep on confusing this for the north, but northwards of the south quarter, in any case, towards the left-hand side, we're gonna see the Viper end up getting full control of that quarter. Let's take a look. Where's the demo? Where's the demo? Here comes the demo, but it's too late. The castle comes up, and the Viper survives down the south. Starts coming in. There we go. Beautiful. Good defense for the Viper so far. On the right. And down south as well. Like, we have some fire ships over here left still for Dragonstar, but doesn't seem like it's going to be the case for much longer. The Golem are taking them down. Well done. And the Viper stabilized. Now he finds himself in a much better position. Dragonstar struggles to pay attention. Imagine. Just from a spectator standpoint over here, it's so hard to keep track of everything that's going on. If you're in the player's position over here, it's borderline impossible. So I'm kind of wondering if the Viper pick this map on purpose, kind of throw Dragonstar off, to kind of play to his strengths, kind of play for speed. Let's take a look at the APM overall. Well, we have a higher APM for the Viper by quite a lot. So it seems like he's able to leverage on that as Dragonstar keeps on crumbling in population compared to the Viper. So far it's the Norwegian, the one who's been able to take the most advantage of this map layout. His higher APM as well, and yeah, his overall, I would say, honestly, better decision making. Prioritizing the left-hand side as well was a huge thing for the Viper. Killing this out means that Dragonstar cannot really go for any castles anymore, and that's the only place where you're going to be able to find any stone, right? If you want to go for castles elsewhere, you're going to need to collect a lot of gold over here, and it's going to get very inefficient very fast. There's no way to win this game for Dragonstar. It certainly seems like there isn't a way for the Indian player back into this game and the Viper. Well, the Viper's going to click up to the Imperial Age very soon, so if the score is not telling enough of a story for Dragonstar and he doesn't call the GG by the time the Viper by the time the Viper finishes researching the Imperial Age, he's going to call the GG after the Viper gets up, right? What does he do against fast fire ships? Elite Gulam. Possibility for, you know, a stronger push, maybe Hussar. He wouldn't really be able to do much of anything. Yeah, and down the south, it seems like the Viper's going to end up getting full control of this quarter too. Right now, he's managed to get a bunch of units down. Yeah, not the best image shots over there. Up in the north, the Gulams roaming around. You know, though, the Viper's actually getting very close from chopping through over to Dragonstar's side over here. It's very interesting because on the right hand side, Dragonstar's actually been getting somewhat better trades against the Viper. So if the Viper's able to connect the south and the east over here, he should be the one in a better position because of his lead in the south, right? While on the right hand side, they're kind of even. Anyway, only 20 seconds for the Viper to get to the Imperial Age. I think it's about 20 seconds before Dragonstar calls GG as well. And I think this is the equalizer. There we go, Imperial Age is here for the Viper. Dragonstar calls a GG. As expected, that's going to be the equalizer over here. The Viper won, Dragonstar won. We know this is going to be at the very least a 4-game series, and depending on how the next games go, of course, we could see a full set over here for the time being. Series tied up. Let's go through the achievements before jumping into game number 3. Stronger military for the Viper. The stats over here reveal a higher KD approaching 4-3. For economy, we see a stronger economy for the Viper, collecting well over 7,000 extra resources. So thousands upon thousands of extra resources. Society reveals a higher worker count for the Viper, not only for the max worker count, but also for the final worker count over here. Throughout the game, Viper ended up losing 41 villagers, Dragonstar ended up losing 58, so everything seems to favor the Viper over here, no matter how you slice it. Well done. Let's go back and wait for game number 3. Oh, OBS, I think. Come on. Well, it's not anywhere near as bad as it was before, though. Before I was taking 100%, now it's taking like 90 or so. Okay, there we go, it's fixed. Once again, we'll switch player colors because honestly, teal on yellow is an absolute nightmare, not only for colorblind people, but for anybody, honestly. So let's just switch Dragonstar over to the blue color once again. The Viper is going to remain the red color over here, and for civilizations, we're gonna have Bulgarians for Dragonstar, Franks for the Viper. And what does it mean? Well, starting with Dragonstar, the civilization is going to give him access to militia line upgrades for free. So the Minotaur's upgrade, Lone Swordsman upgrade, 2 on the Swordsman, and Champion upgrades coming for free for Dragonstar. Besides that, we see for Bulgarians also a 50% stone discount on DCs, as well as access to Crep Post, and a 50% food discount on blacksmiths and Siege Workshop upgrades. So blacksmith and Siege Workshop upgrades. For the team bonus, they will finally get 80% faster working blacksmiths as well. Meanwhile, the Viper playing with Franks will benefit from free farm upgrades. 15% faster working foragers, which can be really good as you already start surrounded by berries. Besides that, we'll see for Franks 20% extra HP on the cavalry unit starting in the village, as well as 25% cheaper castles, and for the team bonus, 2 extra line of sight on island units. So, for anybody who might not be familiar with this map, we talked about the maps, try to talk about the maps as much as we can early on in the game so that you might acquaint yourself with them. We'll see that Dragonstar is already taking advantage of one of the unique features of this map, which is Jaguars you can collect food from. Dragonstar has been taking advantage of it already. He's got 1, 2, 3 Jaguars he's collected already, and of course he can go for more. I think there might be extra Jaguars available. We have one on the right hand side. We have one up in the north over here. From his left hand side TC that is, and then for the north TC, we have 1, 2 Jaguars left still. Yeah. So he could potentially go for those, but it seems like he's not particularly interested in that right now on the Viper. The Viper is not interested in the Jaguars at all. He's not collected a single one. He has not collected anything. There we are. And Dragonstar is just going to end up taking all the Jaguars over here. Well done. That's a lot of food for free, and then eventually he'll be able to make a play for the berries as well. He'll be able to collect the berries too, so it's going to be just a few extra free resources for Dragonstar compared to the Viper. And now the Bull player is going to be the first one. Is he going to be the first one? He's the second one, actually, to make a play for the center. Meanwhile, the Viper already has a mill up over here. And start to collect some of the fish. I think he doesn't know yet. You mean the Viper, that he doesn't know about the Jaguars? I mean, I guess it could be the case. There is definitely a good reason behind just going for full berries over here and ignoring the Jaguars. As opposed to having to lure the Jaguars underneath the TC, you can just go and collect the berries over here 15% faster with the Franks. So, at the end of the day, we'll take a look at the amount of gather economy time, the amount of food collected for both these players, and I would imagine the Viper would be equal compared to Dragonstar, or probably even higher, before he is forcing to start going for farms, perhaps. We'll see. Village is coming out for both these guys, though, and we have a little bit of a hit start for Dragonstar. Not massive, though. And let's see if we can get a glimpse of what the plan is over here. Usually, for Bulgarians, it's going to be a barracks at the center. Exactly like this, yes. Militias, and once you get to the village, those get upgraded to Minotaurs right away. So the Viper's about to run out of food over here. On the right-hand side, we'll see if he makes a play for the center with the villagers, or if he's going to start going for farms. He's going to send some villagers over to the center, the rest of the wood, and then down the south, he still keeps on collecting a little bit more over here. Dragonstar, on the other hand, still keeps on collecting from the berries, and he's going to have access to free resources for a while. Even if he could end up getting pushed away from the center, he will still have the berries to fall back onto. But let's take a look at gather economy time so far. Before we do that, we have about the same amount of vitality time for both these players. They're going up at about the same time. They have the same work account or so. And the Viper has gotten almost 40 minutes of extra gather economy time, which is just ridiculous. And if we take a look at economy, you'll see the Viper ended up collecting about 200 extra resources. And this just goes to show how strong the Franks can be on a map like this, even if they ignore the Jaguar. The Jaguar food. And here come the Minotaurs from Dragonstar, pushing the Viper away. The blue player is looking good. Now, the Viper is going to be forced into farms, my man. At the very least, he gets the farm upgrades for FRISBEE. He's got the horse collar already, but this is not ideal. And one villager goes down. The first eco kill over here of the game. Down the south. Yeah, the Viper's just running out of food as well. So, good thing that he's got the reserve over here to collect, or actually to take advantage of, sorry, and keep on queuing villagers, because otherwise, he will be kind of left completely idle, right? By the time he runs out of these resources, this food bank that he's managed to get up so far, he'll need to get some farms up. And it seems like Dragonstar is going to be the one to get full center control, at the very least for the time being, that is. He's got the Minotaur still. He's got archers coming out right now, spearmen as well. So Minotaur's archer and spear will be a composition that's going to be too difficult for anybody to fight against. And now the Viper. The Viper is starting to run out of resources, guys. Take a look at this. He's going for scouts. He's going for villagers. He's housed. He does not have a villager coming out at all. So now he starts to rack up a lot of idle TC time, and Dragonstar's looking great for game number 3. Take a look at those resources. Check out Dragonstar's resources. Looking absolutely fantastic. Beautiful. Here we are. Fantastic so far. So good. Dragonstar is a hidden worker count, already starting to pull a 5 worker lead. He's a hidden military, even if he ended up losing the Minotaurs. He's got the most military units out right now, and the Viper's certainly on the back foot. It's because of the Jaguars. Yeah, that's it. That's the only possible explanation. I'm just kidding, of course, and we see a stable come out for Dragonstar. So his army composition, there was already a little bit of a, you know, a very diverse army composition. It's going to get even more diverse now with scouts coming out. It's going to have skirmishers, going to have archers, going to have scouts. Doesn't have a spearman anymore. He just lost the last few, but doesn't need to, given the fact that the Viper is not really going for cavalry himself. Now, if we take a look at Dragonstar's point of view, he knows about the stable, so he should definitely still consider going for a few extra spearmen before making a definitive transition to something else, because the stable's there, he can see it. He's gotta respect the prospect of scouts from the Viper. Especially when Viper can use the mobility of these units to kind of, you know, ignore what Dragonstar's got to play with right now and just go after villagers, perhaps. Hey, Heverina! Have some mate. That is a very nice emote, by the way. Sweet or better? It used to be sweet, but now I can say proudly better. It took some time though. I had to get used to it. In the span of 3 months or so, I went from my usual amount of sweetness to removing it altogether. Anyway, the Viper's coming up, and this is what I was talking about. We needed to see spearmen over here from Dragonstar. Now the Viper's going to end up getting a few villagers. Already 2 villagers have gone down. 3 villagers have gone down. Dragonstar. Yeah, he gets kind of clapped at the center over there a little bit, but he will be the first player to get to the castle age regardless, and he will end up clearing the units out from the Viper anyway. You're really too sweet? Ah, that is so sweet from you. That is a fantastic bee, Turnip. There we go. Some villagers go down for the Viper. Now Dragon starts making good use of his own scouts, taking advantage of his own mobility. Yeah, and now we might see another villager go down over here. A few. A Dragonstar places the scouts right, though. We have some weak villagers over here. Struggling with pathing over there. Wow, the scout's actually going down. What was that? What the hell was that from Dragonstar? Rip. Castle Age is here. Now we have Bloodlines for Dragonstar. He's got some archers, skirmishers moving over the right hand side. The Viper is not realizing about this just yet. So might end up taking a few losses. Not quite. His reaction is not the fastest, but it's sufficient for him to prevent taking any losses. And we're gonna see some knights coming out, right? Dragonstar's got Chain, Bard, and Armor for +2/+2 coming out. And that should put them in a pretty good spot to start putting pressure, even underneath TCs. It should be fine. So yeah. Nice raid over here from the Viper. Doesn't manage to get a single village down. Meanwhile, down the south. Oh! Down the south! The Viper's getting completely clapped. 4, 5, 6 villagers dead so far. As a matter of fact, yeah. It was a little bit higher than that, I think. Might have been actually 8 villagers, and he's not really paying attention. Viper gets to the castle age, but he's going to end up losing the lumberjacks down the south as well. My lord, he's been taking so many losses. 14. 7 KD, Eco KD in favor of Dragonstar, and he's done a really good job defending himself, as a matter of fact. Might end up taking a few losses over here. Not even that, actually. The reaction from Dragonstar is fast enough to prevent the Viper from getting even a single villager on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, Dragonstar is making this extremely messy, guys. The right-hand side towards the south over here, he's got knights. He's got archers, skirmishers, knights on the left-hand side as well. He's completely surrounding the Viper down the south. Dragonstar's already thinking of the next step. He's going to start collecting some stone right now, quite heavily, with 8 stone miners. We're going to see a castle come up very, very soon. Right now, the name of the game is keep map control for Dragonstar. Keep putting pressure. Keep the Viper on his toes. 3.5 minutes or so that he'll need for these villagers to collect enough to go for the castle will pass in no freaking time. Yeah, the Viper actually goes on to call the GG over here. Doesn't want to wait anymore. Score difference was quite telling as well. So that's going to be game number 3 going in favor of Dragonstar. And guys, what an incredible series. Dragonstar 2. The Viper 1. Let's take a look at the achievements over here before jumping into game number 4. I don't know if you can hear that, but there is a little girl screaming very, very loud in the streets. I'm just going... My lord, I'm just going to proceed and shut the window. Give me a second. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh man, and it was so nice. I was kind of cooling down after several days in a row of unbearable heat. Managed to cool down with the window open, but not for too long. Regardless, about 9 to 8 key ratio favoring Dragonstar. We'll see for economy, a stronger economy for Dragonstar, collecting thousands of extra resources compared to the Viper, over 3,000 extra resources. With a higher villager max count, but also a higher villager count at the end of the game, he ended up losing 10 villagers against the Viper, while the Viper ended up losing 20 villagers himself. So Dragonstar dominated this game. Well done. Hey, there we go. No lag this time. Dude, I need to... I think it's just an OBS bug, but there are a few other areas from my stream that already seem to be kind of pushing the limits of what my hardware can do, so definitely need to get an upgrade. For which, well, we do have a little bit of a holiday goal over here. But anyway, let's take a look at game number 4. This was going to be match point no matter what, right? And whether or not we get a full series is really going to depend on Viper's performance over here. Both these players will utilize the same civilization, Hans, on this map. And what do we get for Hans? They will begin with 100 less wood, but they do begin with 200 population support already from the get-go. We'll see in addition to that for the Hans, 50% accuracy and trebuchets as opposed to 15%. We're gonna see then, in addition to that, for Hans, 10 and 20% cheaper cavalry archer units in the feudal, in the castle and Imperial Ages. Yes, if cavalry archers were available in the feudal age. So yeah, 10 and 20% cheaper in the castle and Imperial Ages. For the team bonus, we're gonna have 20% faster working stable. So it's a very strong civilization for a map like this. And what do I mean with a map like this? You do not need to go for houses, so you will be saving wood in the long run. And that's going to allow you to do a variety of things over here. You can choose your poison, so to say. You can try to utilize that to potentially go for some fishing, right? You can utilize that to go for the archer ranges. And try to make a play for triple, potentially even quadruple archer range. Cavalry archer production, go for full mobility. Or, of course, you can always make the standard melee cavalry play and utilize the 20% faster working stables advantage to go for full knight production in the castle age. And the knights will be more immediately effective compared to cavalry archers, but they are not going to scale quite as well. So it's, yeah, it's kind of like quite literally just, you're gonna have to make your choice. But the Huns definitely do have the tools they need to work with on a map like this, given the fact that it's extremely open as well. If we take a look, once again, you will see that the majority of the gold is actually up over here on the right hand side. But let's take a look at something, by the way. I just realized the gold situation for the Viper is really bad. Dragonstar, for instance, he's got one goal on the back over here, and then he's got this goal in between both the TCs, right? However, the Viper is going to have both of these golds super forward. And then the rest of the goal on this map is going to be kind of around this area. So it's definitely not the best map generation for the Viper that I have seen at all. Map hacks over here do not really seem to be working out too well. However, this map is still extremely open. As you can see, the players do not really get forests or woods. Instead, we're going to have 2 piles of lumber over here. We're going to have 2 piles of lumber over here as well. Right, 2 piles of lumber over here for Dragonstar to collect from. We're going to see something similar for the Viper with the piles of lumber over there. 100,000 wood for each tile. It means that you basically have as much wood as you need from a single tile, a single pile of lumber over here, as what you're going to need for the whole game, for sure. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. That's about it. The players are getting very close to having enough of an economy to make a play for the fuel age. And just so you know, penguins over here, they are pog, but they are also consumable, so you can actually take the penguins down and consume the food from it. The way that this works is it's just going to spawn an ostrich, but it's still going to be shown as a penguin. Basically, you can still take them down and get some food out of it, even if the sprite seems kind of awkward. The Viper's going to be the first player to go out to the fuel H. He's got a dock coming up in the north. On the left-hand side, he's got just the mill, so no docks over here. And then Dragonstar, he already had gone for a dock down the south, and he's going to start utilizing it to go for fishing ships. So that explains why he was so much later to the fuel H, and why he is so much later to the fuel H. That's going to be the case also on the right-hand side. So Dragonstar is going for full greed here, and the Viper is going for a fast castle. And what I assume to be a... Actually, I have no idea. If he wants to go for cavalry archers or if he wants to go for knights, he'll need gold for either of those, right? So, yeah, the Viper needs to actually get some map control before he's able to go for that. I'm not really sure. I think there is exactly enough space over here. I think there might be a 4x4 tile for the Viper to try and pursue maybe a TC over here, right? If he gets the TC over there, then he's able to secure all 3 golds, 4 golds as a matter of fact, right? Or at the very least, he's able to start collecting from it, not necessarily secure. But we'll see. We'll see if he ends up going for it or not. Still is on the way. The Viper's gonna go for a blacksmith and then click out to the Castle H. Starting to collect some gold. I'm not really sure where he's getting gold from though. Did I miss a gold? Where is the Viper collecting? No, he's collecting from down south over here. So yeah, it's going to take some time. And Dragonstar on the other hand, Dragonstar is about 40 seconds away from the fuel H. Second stable is coming up and Dragonstar knows about it. The guy's beginning with a trading donkey. With a trading donkey that Dragonstar's already made use of to get vision of both the stables coming up. And now he knows what to expect. It was always going to be either knights or cavalry archers. Now that he's expecting knights, well, we'll see if he wants to make a play for cavalry archers himself. The thing though is, the Viper is taking some time before he gets enough gold, and because he's not going for a stable, for a market, he cannot really utilize the surplus food to sell it and go out to the castle H earlier. Instead, he's gonna just take advantage of the extra food he's got right now to go for scouts and start putting some pressure on the fuel H already. Meanwhile, Dragonstar. Well, Dragonstar should be making a play for the Castle H, and he will. And he's actually beaten the Viper to the Castle H, and this is huge! Getting there earlier, now he's got a barracks, and he's got 1 archer range. Getting there earlier is huge for Dragonstar if he gets the extra archer ranges up and is able to keep most of his economy alive. Although that is the first blood over here, favoring the Viper with a villager going down. But yeah, if Dragonstar is able to keep his economy up, once he gets to the Castle Age, he'll be in a position to start producing cavalry archers with potentially 3, potentially 4 archer ranges. And we'll see for sure. The second archer range is only now coming out for Dragonstar. It's going to be at the very least 3, I reckon. I'm not sure if he's going to want to go for quadruple archer range. At this point in time, Dragonstar is looking stronger compared to the Viper for economy as well by quite a lot. Still about 7 workers ahead. Despite having taken the only villager loss in this game so far, and that's going to be all because of the fishing ships. And the Viper's going to be in the Castle Age about 24 seconds, I think, or so later compared to Dragonstar. We might see a villager go down over here though from Dragonstar. If the Viper plays his cards right, and Dragonstar loses a villager over there in the end. We're gonna see another villager going down. Yes, sir. Still ahead by 5 workers. So the Viper's actually getting away with a lot of damage over here. And Dragonstar, he's bringing the Spearman over here, but a little bit too late. Too little, too late. The Viper's already done damage. So now that Dragonstar's got into the castle, let's take a look at this infrastructure. And once again, he is only on 2 archer ranges. Another villager goes down on the right-hand side. The Viper's just putting so much pressure. Pikeman upgrades coming up now as well for Dragonstar, which is going to just get him so far in terms of defenses, but still, we need a 3rd archer range at the very least, man. It's just going to take so long for him to get the amount of cavalry archers that he needs from just 2 archer ranges. Not great. Here we are. Nice villager pick over here for Dragonstar. The only player with access to Navy, of course. The only player with a... Actually, that is not true. The Viper did go for one galley. I'm not really sure. Fire galley. Yeah, defensive one. Dragonstar had a significant head start to dock production, of course, but might not make too much of a difference in the end if he's unable to suppress the Viper. Good defense. Still doesn't end up losing a few villagers over here. The Viper's Knights are roaming around. Double TC star maps, they're just so hectic. There's so much going on at all times. On the right hand side, we have the scouts coming over from the Viper as well, and he's gonna get yet another villager from Dragonstar. That is not the case, but so far, oh, he will get another villager. Well done. But now Dragonstar is going on the counter offensive, and the Viper's got two villagers trapped over here. Going down, of course. There we go. Beautiful. And while the Viper has gotten 17 villagers already from Dragonstar, Dragonstar has the arguably stronger unit over here to work with. Just that this is not the best unit control though, man. He needs to keep the distance. He needs to keep the cavalry archer away from the Knights. And the Viper cleans the cavalry archers up. These units from Dragonstar, they are so fragile without even bloodlines right now. They get completely melted to units just looking at them. You know, so... Viper starting to pull a very substantial lead against Dragonstar, not only in military, but now even in worker count after taking so many villagers down from the bull player. So it seems like the greedy approach over here did not really work out for Dragonstar, or has not been working out for Dragonstar so far for the most part. However, that is also because of Viper's feudal aggression too. We saw the red player start to go for scouts before he clicked out to the castle age and started to put in pressure significantly earlier than when he got to the castle age, right? And now in the end, Dragonstar's trying to keep the raids going. He's struggling. The Viper. Let's get extra units roaming around. Dragonstar's going for the 4 TC. The Viper's already on 4 TCs. And here come the scouts from the Viper. He doesn't seem to realize about this. You know, if he played those cards right over there, he might have been able to actually deny the TC fully. Realizing about it now. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, and this is, I think it's getting... If it's not getting denied, it's getting delayed, and it's coming at a huge cost. We have 4 light cavalry over here taking villagers after villagers. And that's bringing Viper's KD to 25-7 for economy. Yeah, and that's not even the end of it. Down the south, it's got a knight putting pressure against efficient ships. At the center, it's got knights putting pressure against the cavalry archers. He's got chain bar and armor already, so these are as upgraded as they can be against CA. The only thing that Dragonstar will be able to do to counter these knights from the Viper will be to get a good amount of units out into the open, right? Potentially, as I always say, 20, 25 would be good. 30 at the very least would be ideal, but even still, he'll need to take care of these units as if they are made out of paper, because they basically are. Without bloodlines, they do not really endure the battles too well. Without bloodlines, without leather archer armor, without leather archer armor, Dragonstar's units are simply not in their final form yet, and what they could be. There we go, more villages going down. Yes, sir. Well. Dragonstar is really starting to fall apart over here. Let's gather one fire galley on the left-hand side, pushing some villages away from the Viper. The Viper's going to bring those back to work. Meanwhile, over here to the southeast, the Viper's putting pressure against Dragonstar. Dragonstar is not pulling the villagers out just yet, so while he's got the cavalry archer, yeah, he will end up losing just so much over here. A lot of extra villages going down before the knights get cleaned up. And he'll still keep on trying to make the play for cavalry archers. To be fair, he is looking a little bit better now compared to just a few minutes ago. He's got bloodlines finally for the CA, and he's got ballistics too. Ideally, he'll want to go for thumb ring as well. And I don't think he's gone for it yet. So these are not still 100% accurate. For Dragonstar, that is. And he is still struggling to get to a good amount of units. But he's gonna get in there. The problem for the bull player, though, is that there's so much catching out to do. Just keep on roaming around, trying to find the exposed economy for the Viper and get those villages, man. Because right now, the Viper is ahead by 59 workers. What am I talking about? 49 workers. The Viper's ahead by. More knights coming out for the red player, of course, and this is when it gets kind of weird. The Viper, he's producing from 4 stables, he's producing 4 knights, and Dragonstar is producing from 3 archer ranges. Technically, we get a stronger army for Dragonstar once he gets past 30 or so cavalry archers, which is the amount he needs to one-shot knights. But once again, we are talking about 100% accurate shots over here, and we still do not have thumb ring. And that is, of course, with perfect macro in, you know, the moment that the Viper breaches the gap over here and is able to get at the very least 1 kill, that's going to prevent Dragonstar from one-shotting the units anymore, assuming that Dragonstar keeps all 30 cavalry archers together. And that is not even possible for Dragonstar right now. He's got only 19 out of 28 cavalry archers down the south, and then the rest are going to be on the right-hand side, and the Viper is going to surround both these armies. He doesn't care. He's got no issues putting pressure against the cavalry archers because they are in smaller numbers, and 2 small groups of cavalry archers against 2 small groups of knights will not be anywhere near as good as having a full ball of cavalry archers against a full ball of knights, of course, in Dragonstar. Oh, he keeps on crumbling, guys. He's going to end up losing a few more villages over here with the overmind. Yeah, that's the thing now. You had over chopping before, now you have overmining. He opens the way over here for the Viper's Knights to come in, and he realizes how far behind he is, and he's going to call the GG right there. Putting the Viper up 2 to 2 against Dragonstar, so not really up, but it's going to allow the Viper to equalize over here, and that was not even the end of it. Viper was even going to try to get a forward castle up in the, you know, in the north over here, northeast rather. So Dragonstar couldn't keep on going anymore, and guys, we have a full set. The Viper versus Dragonstar. Absolutely fantastic. Gonna jump into game number 5 after taking a look at the achievements, as is often the case. And what do we get for this one, for game number 4? We'll see for military a much better KD for the Viper, surpassing 7-to-4 KD ratio. We know that a lot of this was also in villagers or eco units going down from Dragonstar, so it was even better for the Viper than what the ratio would have you believe. For economy, Viper does end up collecting a lot of extra resources. How many? 8,000 extra resources. And then some. The highest villager max count for the red player, but also the highest villager count at the end of the game. While if we take a look at Dragonstar, that was, yeah, not even close to be the case. And not only that, but the Viper ended up losing 10 villagers throughout the game. Dragonstar ended up losing 60 villagers throughout the game. So absolutely fantastic performance for the Viper. And we'll see what we get for game number 5. And here we are, guys. Game number 5. The final one of the series. 2-2. The Viper against Dragonstar. Looking absolutely amazing. What a great series. See for Dragonstar playing Lithuanians, and we'll see for the Viper, he's playing Gujaras. And this is definitely a map in which you want to be very, very careful with your kings. Speaking of which, do we have only 2 kings over here for the Viper? What is the third king? 0-0 KD. he doesn't really have a king garrison, so it seems to be bugged out. You are supposed to start with 3 kings. And from what I can see, the Viper's got just 2. Let me take a look at this. Yeah, just 2 nice. So this is a bug generation. And I'm actually not really sure the Viper is aware of this. But he should definitely... yeah, consider calling the admin re over here, because if you lose your kings, you lose the game, and having only 2 kings as opposed to 3 is obviously going to make you a little bit more vulnerable. Yeah, you see, the Viper really taking a lot of heat over there with one of the kings. Yeah, of course, population is high for Dragonstar. The Vipers struggle to keep the TCs working. Anyway, let's talk about the civilization, starting with Dragonstar. Playing with Lithuanians over here means that he is going to have 150 extra food upon starting the game. We're going to see for Lithuanians 10% faster movement skirm spearline units, as well as king fight, king fight. As if, if only, man. Oh, that'd be a beautiful spot for a quick wall for the Viper, but I don't think he knows about it, does he? Yeah, he doesn't know that it's close. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna get faster movement skirm speedline units for Lithuanians, as well as 1 extra attack on knights and light tier units per each relic garrison, up to 4 relics, so up to +4 attack. For the team bonus, Lithuanians also get 20% faster working monasteries. And the Viper, on the other hand, playing with Gujaras, what do we get then for the red player? We're gonna have with Gujaras faster attacking. What am I talking about over here? Sorry, no. It's for the Gujaras, 40% extra bonus damage from mounted units. They start with 2 forage pushes and then the TC, and they can garrison the mills with herdables and the docks with fishing ships as well, which is going to generate food when you garrison the herdables, and it's going to keep your fishing ship safe, right? While for the team bonus, Gujaras will also get faster training camel and elephant type units, I believe. Yeah, it seems like Dragonstar is just going back. Keeping both kings safe. Just gonna keep on scouting with the 3rd one. There we go. Feel like it's gonna be here for both players in a moment. The Viper's getting there a little bit earlier. Let's get only 1 dog, so Dragonstar shouldn't really be struggling too much over here to protect the lake himself. Yeah, nobody's going for Navy at all. Dragonstar instead will try to make a play for fast castle on the Viper. Viper knows so much. Well, for 3 minutes of idle TC time. Might have just struggled to keep the TCs working. As a matter of fact, the Viper actually ended up losing 1 village over here. Let's go back a little bit and try to catch up with when the Viper lost the villager over there. It's been a while ago. But this is something that happens when you have a triple TC start. It's very, very difficult to keep track of everything that's going on. So the Viper, for instance, seems like he tried to lure this one, right? Nope. Up in the north? Where's the Viper losing the villager? Over here by the looks of it. yeah, you had too much to pay attention to, so the LTC time, the villagers going down to boards over here. It might look like a low-level play over here from the Viper, but that's because there's just too much to pay attention to. So I would say the idle TC time is also because of that, and not getting, of course, the board in time also hurts quite a bit. So catching back up, Dragonstar is gonna keep on scouting. The Viper's going after the Castle Age. Dragonstar's going after the Castle Age a little bit earlier as well. It is very interesting, isn't it, though? Because we saw the Viper actually do pretty well on very hectic maps in the past, such as 4 quarters. But then these ones, which have like triple standard start as opposed to more TCs, but less standard start for some of those TCs. This seems to be significantly harder for the Viper to keep up with for the most part. At the very least, Dragonstar has been able to perform really well. The Viper's gonna keep on racking more and more idle TC time now, Dragonstar. It's got Fire Galleys coming out, guys, and the Viper's going for the first Fire Galley as well, but Dragonstar, he gets this one out, doesn't really realize about it. Don't imagine though, Dragonstar would have been able to trap the king over there. That would have been fantastic, but yeah. Here we go. Yeah, and it seems like Dragonstar is going to end up getting full water control over here, and the Viper's already starting to fall behind significantly. Population 65 versus 80. Seems like Dragonstar will end up getting full water control, thus taking the fishing ships down over here, and the Viper, well, what is the Viper going for? He's got a 4 TC on the way. Interestingly enough, Dragonstar's got the 4th and 5th TCs on the way. And still the players keep on roaming around. What is the Viper doing? My lord, is Dragonstar going to realize about this? He could have taken one king down already with the TC over there, I think. And then the Viper will have only this one left. Yeah, and the Viper doesn't seem to care. And Dragonstar is like, yep, whatever. Either that or he's not paying attention to that specific spot, of course. There is too much to pay attention over here. There is a very real chance that Dragonstar did not realize about the king going underneath the TC. Regardless though, nice villager pick over here for the Viper. Dragonstar so far still has a better KD though with 3-1. Compared to 1-4 for the Viper, who lost an additional villager to the board we saw earlier. And the Shribanshi Riders are coming in from the Viper. It's gonna start getting the raids going. Well, Dragonstar seems to be mostly focusing on going for full economy, right? So he's got 5 TCs. He's got pikemen coming out, so he knows exactly about the Shrivansh Riders. So he's going for just pikemen, and he's going to play full defensive over here on the Viper. Well, the Viper, if he doesn't really get any damage done, though, he's still left in a very precarious spot. Right now, he's got the fewest military units and the smallest economy. He's gonna try and get a castle up in the north. Dragonstar's been collecting stone quite a lot as well. Oh! The king! The king's going down! Is it? The Viper's not paying attention over here, and the king's dead, guys! 1 king left for the Viper. If Dragonstar is able to snipe this one, he will take the dub over here, while the Viper's gotta be extremely careful with the king that he's got remaining. And you know, one of the best things to go about that, if Dragonstar gets some cavalry units, he goes forward and he just starts raiding around, the Viper's going to garrison the TCs. And one thing that we have seen players often do is they are going to out-garrison the TCs as opposed to sending the villagers back to work, which means that also the kings come out and you're able to snipe them. Whether we're gonna see Dragonstar try to go for something like that, of course, remains to be seen. For the time being, the game has stabilized for the most part. Up in the north, we have a defensive castle for Dragonstar. The Viper. He's got the forward castle over here. Doesn't really achieve much of anything. Viper's been watching Mono's stream? Yeah. Here we go. Oh, beautiful. What a lovely clip. Turnip. Yes. The pikeman coming over from Dragonstar. He's not defending anymore because Viper's not putting any pressure, so Dragonstar might as well just go forward and see if he can find the king, ideally. Second castle's coming out. Dragonstar's economy is still looking significantly stronger. The Viper does have more resources right now, though, so Dragonstar's economy looking stronger is going to be mainly a matter of having extra villagers. But the Viper might actually be able to go up to the Imperial Age very soon. Let me take a look to see if Dragonstar can see the king. I'm not sure. I think he knows about the TC, but he doesn't know about the flag. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't know about the TC, actually. It's coming over. There's a castle coming out for the Viper. He'll be able to get this. Yeah, the castle's coming up 100%. Nice conversion. And now you gotta wonder, does he know about the TC now? Still doesn't know about it. Still doesn't know about the King Garrison. And to be fair, Dragonstar obviously doesn't really know that the Viper's got only 2 kings. For all Dragonstar knows, the Viper's on 3 kings himself as well. And he's gotta take the castles down and then the TC's down. But yeah. We know. Forecast coming up for Dragonstar down the south. This doesn't really do too much. It's going to just push the Viper away from here, but the Viper can go up the north, no problem. And of course, that castle doesn't really put any pressure against the king either. This is what I was talking about, by the way. Just tried to raid. He gets away with it. He can potentially force the Viper into garrison and villages over here, and then if the Viper's not careful and he out-garrisons everything... Here we go. Might end up... Beautiful. Might end up sniping the king, of course. Welcome to the channel. You guys, everybody who was watching the stream for the first time, dropping the follows. It's very much appreciated. I hope you are enjoying the content so far, of course. This is mainly made possible by all the lovely work of Wobo Coyoto and LBR who are making this tournament possible and open streaming. So big shout out to them, the host of the tournament, of course. I'm just providing coverage for these games, but it's been great still. LBR3, big fan. Custom stuff for Dragonstar. Yes. And the king is in the TC over here. And this is what I was talking about. Notice the Viper out-garrisons the king, and if Dragonstar had units over there, he will already be able to snipe this one, but it seems like the Viper's just going to send the king over to the corner, most likely. Nope, he just sent it alongside the villagers to collect some wood over there. This could be huge, guys. If Dragonstar ever realizes about the king over there, this could be a king snipe game. Let's take a look. Dragonstar's roaming around. It's not going to realize about it anytime soon. As Viper gets to the Imperial Age, he's the first player to get access to trebuchets, right? So up in the north, Dragonstar's paying attention over here, trying to keep the castle up. Over here, he'll most likely end up losing this castle for sure. Yeah, and even though he was able to get full control of the south over here, including the water and the land, Dragonstar still needs to wait until he gets to the Imperial Age to catch up to the Viper for technology. There we go. The Viper realizes about the king. He's going for a TC in the castle over here for good measure. There we go. Light Chaya roaming around. The Viper gets the castle up. King's Garrison inside the TC though. Yo! Harker Massive, yes! New emotes indeed. I hope you're liking them. Thank you so much for the subscription. That is actually the 9-month subscription over there, Harker Massive, so it's very much appreciated. And that's on Twitch, baby. How about that? You can name him. Yeah, Dragonstar's about to lose this castle. And up in the north, he's been able to keep his own castle alive for the most part. Now he's going to try and dive in, take the trebuchets down. The Viper's, of course, paying attention over here. It's been an ongoing effort for him to try and take this one down. And well done, Dragonstar. Ignoring the camels over there, just going after the trebuchets a lot. Yeah, and he'll take all the trebuchets down. Beautiful. Emotes are very well made. I like them a lot. Yeah. Full credit to Alan Snacky or Alan_T and B, as you can find him on Twitch. He is my IRL friend and artist who has made the emotes so far. Unfortunately though, he won't be able to continue making the emotes in the future, so I think I'm going to pick up myself and just try to make them on my own. But he's done a really good job so far. So big props. Nice defense over here for the Viper and Dragonstar. Still looking stronger though for military and for economy. Dragonstar is ahead in population. Kept the castle up in the north for the time being. It's gonna be the one taking this one down as well. And on the right hand side we have another castle coming out for him. The castles have been very important for Dragonstar as he's been banking for the most part on Light Chai. He's just got on the elite upgrade as well, so these guys with iron casting, plate bard and armor, elite upgrade, and 3 relics for Dragonstar are incredibly strong, and they will most likely not be very hard to stop. The Viper, significantly behind in population, still has only 1 king left. Dragonstar doesn't seem to be interested in going for the king snipes necessarily. He seems to be mainly interested in just taking this game playing standard. And he will take the castle down over here. He'll be able to start putting pressure against the Viper further up the north. And the Viper down the south, he sent some villagers back to work over here. And not too many though, because he doesn't really have the ability to garrison the TC anymore. But I would say that the Viper basically got pushed away from the south for the most part. If he ends up getting pushed away from the north though, then he's going to have only the center left to work with. Meanwhile, Dragonstar, he's taking full advantage of the south, the center, the north. Everywhere, it's got so many resources. And here comes Dragonstar. 200 population, a lot of halberdier. Elite Light Chai and the Viper. The Viper's going for elite chakram throwers. We'll see the halberdier going after the camels right there. And Dragonstar's gonna, of course, try to use the camels to put or to pull those halberdier into the chakram throwers. And in the end, it's actually a really good fight for the Viper. That was not the best for Dragonstar. He ended up fighting the camels with the Light Chai and the chakram throwers with the halberdier. That's the other way around of what you want to do, my man. And in the end, as expected, the Viper does end up losing the villagers underneath the center over here towards the south, because of course TC wouldn't really shelter anybody, and he ends up taking it down as well. So now the Viper is technically only left at the center and up in the north. Dragonstar's roaming around. I want to see if he'll realize about the king potentially. Yeah, probably not. If he roams around and sees a TC garrison, like, you know, what does he care? He doesn't know that it's a king inside necessarily. He probably expects there to be villagers. Once again, Dragonstar going for the halberdier and Light Chai upgrade units, sorry, army compositions, going for the architecture upgrade, rather. Let's take a look. Looking very good though. But the Viper doesn't have cleaning these units for the most part. And the trees are going to stay out, so this castle's going down, guys. And you know, Dragonstar is paying attention to the castle, so he pulls the king out and into the DC over here. Now they are going to migrate over to the south. We're going to see the kings go over to the back castle over there, and the Viper can no longer snipe them. But well played. This has been really, really good unit control for the Viper. Not so much for Dragonstar, not to say that it's not difficult, of course. It's extremely difficult to take an engagement with the army that Dragonstar's got. An effective, you know, engagement against the Viper when the Viper's unit control is so good. FRISBEE boys are strong. Elite Shannas. Elite Silver. For those League of Legends players. Yeah, nice rates coming out from Dragonstar though. And the Viper still struggling to keep up with population. Now Dragonstar going full forward though. Full steam. Full throttle over here. The Light Chai is bringing a few extra units as well. We're going to see also Tower Shields coming out for Dragonstar to provide extra armor on these hub here. Now, of course, that's not really going to matter too much because the Chakram Throwers, they deal melee damage. So having extra pierce armor is not really going to matter for the halberd over here. It's just going to be a little bit better for fighting against the camels, I guess, but that's probably about it. Hey, Otter! Hi, welcome. Have you seen the new emotes? Welcome back, hope everything's going alright for you. And yeah, in the end, seems like that's still going to result in a lot of villagers going down from the Viper. Even if Dragonstar gets cleaned up over here. So interestingly enough, population is really close overall. Only about 13 higher for Dragonstar, but he's got 39 extra workers and a lot less military. But whatever military he's been going for, he's been able to make use of to reduce Viper's economy, to reduce Viper's villager count, and keep the red player in check. There we go, this castle should be going down very soon. Although, Dragonstar is going to try to make a play for it once again. This time around, though, it seems like he's actually fighting with the majority of his army, while the Viper's bringing a lot of extra Chakram Throwers over here. We'll see. Very difficult for Dragonstar to actually get an effective engagement over there. He will end up cleaning up the camels, though, by the looks of it, but that is a lot of extra FRISBEE boys coming up. The Chakram Throwers will end up cleaning this up. However, Dragonstar manages to keep his units alive long enough and just long enough to take the trebuchets down. As he goes down to 29 military units, the Viper still holding a massive military lead. One shot in the trebuchets over there with the Chakram Throwers. Cutting the ropes, cutting the poles. Completely piercing Dragonstar siege. This is an army to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with from the Viper. Now he's gonna start adding Hussar into the mix for a meat shield as opposed to camels anymore. It's not going to be quite as pricey losses for the Viper if he loses his meat shield from this point onwards. Meanwhile, Dragonstar, well, Dragonstar is still gonna keep on coming into the Light Chai production, and he kind of has to. What is he going to go for? Skirmishers, halberdier against Chakram Throwers? Yeah, good luck. Paladin? Could be. Still liking the Light Chai quite a lot. And Paladin will of course be prohibitively expensive for him to play for right now. Here comes Dragonstar again. He'll go after the trebuchets one more time. He'll take these down. There we go. Yeah, and the chakram throwers still standing strong. The choke point over here was just an absolute grinder for Dragonstar to throw units into and just get some pieces and bits out. Chemistry's coming out. Dragonstar is upgrading the castles quickly. It is not really going to be for skirmishers, obviously. Yeah, and Dragonstar's gonna continue going forward. What kind of vision does the bull player have right now? He's got a pretty good idea of what Viper's base is looking like, right? This TC he didn't know of before, now he does. Yeah, and still the Viper's just going to completely clean up the Lycha over here. So it's been very expensive for the Dragonstar to keep on pushing over here. Overall, he's gotten a better KD, yes, but at what cost? He's been training Lychai for camels. The chakram throwers, right? It's not been good enough. Fortunately for him, he's got a little bit better map control, so he's going to have access to some extra resources compared to the Viper. Beautiful pressure, still up in the north, the Viper the one threatening. I think the castle is down, and his military production right now, his military count right now, Vipers that is out of this world, and Dragonstar cannot really hold a candle against that. Despite his very good amount of gold, his good unit queue, his production is just not strong enough. The Viper's done a really good job. Keep the chakrams alive, meanwhile Dragonstar just kept on throwing Lychai after Lychai into the grinder. And now doesn't have the units to keep on working with anymore. So the Viper is, after a very long time of being in the back foot, finally starting to push back. It's looking good, guys. The Hussar on the back of Dragonstar's base, start to get the raids going. Dragonstar starts to crumble little by little up in the north. The castle has crumbled from Dragonstar. Now the TC is next, and eventually we could see Dragonstar even end up losing the relics as well, which is a very big deal. Remember that he is banking on the relics for extra attack on his units. About it. His Lychai are not anywhere near as strong, and the Viper knows about it. So we're gonna see the TC go down first, and then he's going to continue marching on over to the center, as realistically Dragonstar won't really be able to make anything happen with his north economy anymore. Speaking of economy, let's take a look at the gold situation for Dragonstar. He's been collecting gold quite heavily. And how much does he have available still? Okay, he's got some of the center. We'll take a look at it in a moment. But right now, let's take a look at the Lychai. Engagement over here is going to be strong enough. He's got the halberdier queued up over here, actually rather mixed into the army. And Lychai queued up instead, so we're gonna see him try to go and get us the run going. But he's not fighting with the entire army. And this has been a present issue for Dragonstar the whole game. And now the chakram thrower, they are completely dominating against Dragonstar's units. The surround over there did not happen. The push was not strong enough. Dragonstar gets completely wiped out, as the Viper stays on 200 population and keeps on marching further forward. Where are the relics for Dragonstar? He's got them over here on the back end. The Viper already has vision of it. He's going straight into the relics. He's going straight for the relics. He knows. He sent the Hussar earlier in this direction, so he's going straight for it. We're gonna see him making a quick stop over here to take the TCs down. Sure, why not? But eventually, of course, Viper's ultimate goal is gonna be taking the relics down over here, nerfing Dragonstar's units. Keep on pushing as well. Check and throws are OP. Brutal strong. They are with these numbers as well. How do you stop this? I mean, come on. This is just unbelievable strong. What can you even do against this many frisbees? You can't really do much more than what Dragonstar is going for right now, other than just making a full transition to Paladin, but that'd be extremely pricey. He doesn't really have the resources. If he had gone for it from the get-go, I would imagine this would have been a little bit better, but then also the Lucho is what allowed him to get, well, I want to say somewhat decent trade against camels, but then I remembered to the trades he actually took and they were not too decent at all, so I think maybe Paladin would have been the choice, but of course hindsight's 2020 always. And in the player's position over here, if you put yourself in Dragonstar's shoes, he went for what he seemed to be the best, right? Lucho, Ignorant Armor, are an amazing unit, but unfortunately, against a large volume of chakram throwers over here, they're not going to be the best. They do not have quite as much HP. Yeah. DVD throwers OP? Yeah. Seems so. This is extreme frisbee, by the way. Ultimate frisbee. For those into it. They're into CD throwers. They are CD throwers in standard form, and they become DVD throwers in when you get the elite upgrade. Or is it DVD and Blu-ray maybe? I can talk about these things because the Age of Empires audience is usually a little bit older. Otherwise, a lot of people will be like, what the hell are you talking about? What is a CD? Anyway, floppy throwers. Yeah, okay. We are getting into territory where some of the AE audience might not know what we're talking about. But anyway, Dragonstar is able to get through the camels once again, but still does not manage to get to the chakram throwers. Interestingly enough, though, Dragonstar knew about the relics over here on the right-hand side, and he didn't really go for it in the end. It seems like he's just gonna try and corner Dragonstar into the east corner over here and try and suppress the bull player slowly but surely. And at this point in time, just looking at the pattern of Dragonstar throwing his army to take the camels down, but still unable to touch the chakram throwers. Yeah, you are expecting Dragonstar to realize he won't really be able to come back into this game. And guys, the Viper, well, he was on the back foot this game for a very large chunk of time. Well, he spawned only 2 kings and ended up losing 1 to pikemen. Does end up taking game number 5 though, with a fantastic comeback over here. And the final score of 3-2, the Viper is gonna move on to the lower bracket semifinals already, while Dragonstar gets knocked out of the tournament. But as is often the case, Dragonstar went down swinging, so big shout out to Dragonstar, of course, over here for giving it his all. Let's go through the achievements one more time. We'll see for military, better KD for the Viper. See for economy, and stronger economy for Dragonstar as well. So better KD for the Viper, better economy for Dragonstar. However, you notice Dragonstar only ended up collecting about 600 extra resources. That does not, in this live, compensate for all the losses he took. Obviously. Stronger work account for Dragonstar throughout the majority of the game, and this is what I was talking about, right? So the Viper being able to come back from such a position is nothing short of amazing, and the fact that Dragonstar got such a small eco lead after being ahead for such a long time by so many villagers is actually pretty interesting. It just goes to show the villager count over here is not going to be the end-all be-all for economy. Viper's pressure play the role over here. Eco upgrades, I'm pretty sure, play the role in this. Let's take a look at the upgrades. Yeah, actually Dragonstar was good. Crop rotation, yet hand guard as well. Huh. Yeah, it's gotta be just Viper's pressure. Especially up in the north, where he kept Dragonstar repairing a castle with God knows how many villages for so long. Obviously, Dragonstar couldn't really make use of his entire extra villager count to get ahead in economy. He ended up spending a lot of resources trying to keep the castle up as opposed to using those villagers to get resources in. Is there any unit Dragonstar could have built to counter these DVD throwers? In my opinion, his best shot would have been Paladin. But obviously, we are talking about a massive technology switch. Oh, the Viper did not spawn 2 kings. He lost one early. What the heck? To the TC? What? Oh, what? What is the Viper doing over here? He did not spawn with one less king. My bad. Oh my lord, what is he doing? Anyway, that's going to be about it for this one, guys. Let's go back. Sacrifice of the gods, probably. It would have been hilarious. House? No, he had enough population space. It would have been hilarious if the Viper actually ended up losing this game by King Snipe, though. Dragonstar, we know that he had a few chances, he just wasn't aware of it.